Good day, everyone. Welcome to today's biology lesson. We'll be discussing the topic endocrine system. I'll be evaluating the effect of hormonal secretions in the human body. Objectives. At the end of today's lesson, I'd expect everyone to be able to discuss the effects of oversecretion of hormones in the human body, to be able to explain the effects of hormonal deficiency in the human body, and also to describe negative feedback in blood sugar regulation. Now we're going to start with growth hormone. Oversecretion of growth hormone. Now, an example of growth hormone is what we call somatotropin. And when it's oversecreted in adults, it leads to a condition called acromegaly. And when it is oversecreted in kids or children before puberty, it leads to gigantism. When it's undersecreted also in kids, it leads to dwarfism or retarded growth. Now let's look at a picture of a man suffering from the condition acromegaly, and our popular Linda EKG. And the next slide, we'll be talking about viewing the picture of someone suffering from dwarfism. Of course, this started from when he was very young, and this guy is from Ghana. Emergency hormone. Emergency hormone is called adrenaline in the body, and we'll be looking at the oversecretion and undersecretion of emergency hormone. Now, adrenaline, when oversecreted in the human body, leads to increase in heartbeat and also in the blood pressure. It also leads to increase in dilation of the pupil, that is opening of the pupil, and this enhances vision. It also leads to profuse sweating in the body. Then when it's undersecreted, it lowers blood pressure and it lowers the heartbeat. Other hormones. Now let's quickly talk about other hormones. We'll start with the insulin. This is a very important part I want you all to listen to. Now, when insulin is oversecreted, it leads to a condition called hypoglycemia. And when it is undersecreted, it leads to a condition called hyperglycemia. Now, I'll be explaining this in the last slide of this lesson, where I'll be talking about negative feedback in blood sugar regulation. Now, thyroxine, when it is oversecreted, it leads to hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism means increase in metabolic rate. That is, the person becomes restless or overactive or hyperactive. Then, undersecretion of thyroxine will lead to hypothyroidism, which also leads to lower metabolic rate. The person becomes sluggish in his or her actions. Now, testosterone. When testosterone is oversecreted in males, of course, we know that it's secreted in males. When it's oversecreted, it leads to abnormal urge for sex and overdevelopment or quick development of sex organs. Then, for the estrogen, the same thing applies to the females. It leads to abnormal urge for sex in the females when oversecreted, and when undersecreted, it leads to low urge for sex in the female. Then, for the development of the sex organ, when it is oversecreted, it leads to quick development of the sex organ, and when it is undersecreted, it leads to very delayed development in the sex organs of the female. Now we come to the last slide for today, negative feedback and its control. Now if you look at this picture on the board, you will see insulin here and glucagon. Now cast your mind back to our previous week topic where we discussed the hormones secreted from the pancreas. We talked about insulin and we talked about glucagon. Now look at this. After a meal, normally you expect digestion to take place, and after digestion, the carbohydrate you've taken in will be converted to glucose, meaning we are going to have high blood sugar level in the body. Now, when this occurs, the pancreas secretes insulin. Now, this insulin will take up glucose from the blood. it will trigger target organs to take up glucose from the blood, and it will also trigger liver cells to store the excess glucose still left in the blood as glycogen. And at the end of this, it regulates the blood sugar level in the body. Then, in between meals, that's before you eat, normally you feel hungry. That means you have low blood sugar at that level. At that point, the pancreas also is stimulated to secrete glucagon. Now, this glucagon would cause the liver to release the glycogen that it has stored. That's the glycogen it has stored. Now, this glycogen would be broken down to glucose, and it will be released into the blood to increase the blood sugar level of the body, thereby regulating the level of sugar in the blood. So this is what we call negative feedback, and I've been able to explain insulin and glucagon, the role they play in high blood sugar and low blood sugar. Now remember I talked about hypo and hyperglycemia from here. Now I told you that when insulin is over-secreted, it leads to this condition. Now this condition would cause the insulin that is produced. It's as a result of the insulin produced breaking down excess glucose in the blood, leaving the blood with little or no glucose, because the much glucose in the blood has been taken up and converted to glycogen. Then when it leads to hyperglycemia, that's under secretion of insulin, that's high blood sugar. When insulin is not well secreted in the body, it leads to the fact that the blood, sugar in the blood will not be converted or taken up, so it remains in the blood, leading to diabetes. That's a disease condition, and the person starts admitting the symptoms. With this, I come to the end of this class. I expect you to go back to your Google Classroom and attempt your class starter activity. If you have any questions, put them down at the comment section. I'll be there to answer.